recognize that which is essentially humane and the unavoidable essence of man. Naš program započinjemo izlaganjem studentice Amele Vilić. We begin this program by the presentation of Amela Vilić.
Poetry. Poetry has always been known as the art that manages to capture the deepest parts of the human mind
and soul. Motherhood as such topic is no exception to this rule. Since the dawn of time,
Ništavno je reći da ljudska bića trebaju biti zadovoljna samo sa mirom. The book of Professor Shahaba Yar Khana, PhD, The Book of Fate to See the Revolution of Time.
This is why the book has a remarkably authentic quality to me. It will speak to you, gently embracing your heart and mind.
Who's the more role model for that? Viola, strong woman, fighter, warrior.
Recognizing the rights, the perfection, the efforts and the contributions and education and skills of women, we recognize that which is essentially humane and the unavoidable essence of man. Naš program započinjemo izlaganjem studentice Amele Vilić. We begin this program by the presentation of Amela Vilić na odsjeku za anglistiku Filozofskog fakulteta Univerziteta u Sarajevu.
good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you are well. I apologize for not being present with you today in person, but I hope that this short video of me talking about the topic will suffice for now. Speaking of my topic, as the president of the Studentskog club announced, it is motherhood in poetry. Poetry has always been known as the art that manages to capture the deepest parts of the human mind and soul. Motherhood as such topic is no exception to this rule. Since the dawn of time, it has been spoken of. For example, the Greek poet Sappho actually had a poem of her own where she named it after her daughter Clais, where she described her strong bond with her daughter Clais. In the poem, Sappho uses the references of the culture of the ancients to emphasize her daughter's beauty and how she rejects the values of society and actually inverts it and says that she values her daughter's opinion of her natural and authentic expression of beauty. Mothers devote their time and effort to a child they love unconditionally, while urging them to become their most authentic selves. Although not every poem related to motherhood tackles positive themes, it is also tackling the position of a mother in society, especially of a mother that loses a job for having chosen motherhood. A landmark Baylor University study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology, which surveyed 252 pregnant employees. The researchers measured perceived pregnancy discrimination, perceived stress, and postpartum depressive symptoms. Alicia R., in her unnamed poem, actually described this agony by saying that she traded herself to become a mother, as if she was punished for the noble choice she made in her life. Motherhood, as such, is a choice, and all the women that choose to become one are the bravest souls that manage to juggle their lives so bravely that to us it seems effortless. I will end this short presentation by saying the definition of a mother. A mother is a person that holds your back, so when you bend backwards, she pulls you forward so you can learn to walk on your own. Happy 8th of March to all the mothers, girls, students, and women in general.
Which can be applied to this book. She travels through nature and often describes natural phenomena, lilies, grass, the thundering sky, the sky above, opisujući prirodne motive, odnosno prirodne pojave, unikatne cvjetove, detalje unutar prostorija, detalje unutar fizičkog i prirodnog svijeta, kako bi pobjegla od zapravo oblika represije unutarnje slabosti, preko koje zapravo ona i postaje protalitis anthropos, hrabri čovjek. She becomes in short, a brave man due to her reception of the outward world and transformation into gnostic inward knowledge by escaping the oppressions of society and the oppressions of the weakness of the self. She becomes a brave and strong woman that grows into an independent entity. It is in vain to say human beings ought to be satisfied with tranquility. Ništavno je reći da ljudska bića trebaju biti zadovoljna samo sa mirom. They must have action. Ona moraju imati djelatnost. And they will make it if they cannot find it. I ona će je razviti ako je ne mogu pronaći. The book of Professor Shahaba Yar Khana, PhD, The Book of Fate to See the Revolution of Time. Glavni govornik i promotor knjige je profesor dr. Murat Öner, profesor na odsjeku za engleski jezik i književnost Fakulteta za edukaciju i humanističke nauke Internacionalnog univerziteta. The main speaker and promoter of this book is Professor Murat Öner, PhD, the professor at the Department of English Language and Literature of the Faculty of Education and Humanities. Profesor dr. Murat Öner će govoriti o sadržaju knjige, naučnoj metodologiji koju je upotrijebio autor, te specifičnim područjima analize Shakespeareovih dijela u knjizi, kao općim odlikama knjige kojima se ona ističe.
Brother in arms. And I'm sure that many others can attest to this. Over the past 25 years, now 26 years, we have engaged in numerous debates about the content of this book. This is why the book has a remarkably authentic quality to me. It will speak to you, gently embracing your heart and mind. This is very important, because literature is really on a very interesting threshold between physical and metaphysical world that struggles. Throughout his life, Khan has always endeavored to touch the lives of those with whom he shares his journey. I have personally witnessed this with my own eyes and heart. Similarly, the book's narrative possesses an innate quality, akin to a nurturing and maternal presence. The book grows and develops in a natural and organic manner, akin to a river that flows effortlessly along its course. The voice is smooth, unhurried, yet continually in motion, creating an uninterrupted stream. The book is presented as a rhizomatic amalgamation of multiple micro-stories and micro-histories. I'd like to touch upon this concept, which was developed by two French philosophers of the 20th century, Gilles Deleuze and Félix Guattari. They worked on multiple interesting metaphors. And one of them is the metaphor of rhizome. Rhizome, they borrow this concept from, this terminology from botany. Rhizome is a root system, normally. But they used it for multiple organic concepts, organic discourses. And storytelling could be one of them, You can use this metaphor for storytelling.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jalimet Kajelka Karashin, and I'm very much honored by the invitation of Professor Shahab to give my video contribution to the launch of this book, The Book of Fate to See the Revolution of Time. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Shahab for this honor, as I'm saying, to be present also in this way at the launch. I would like to present myself. First of all, I was a student in his class at the university, Sarajevo University, Department of English Language and Literature, in 1998. It was actually his first generation of young, passionate Shakespeare students. Then the life took me away from Bosnia, from Sarajevo, and decades passed. But I believe when you plant a seed of passion in a person, that seed sooner or later will give some fruits. I feel very much honored and thankful for this opportunity to make this seed grow in the future within the field of Shakespeare studies. So this book, it's more than research. It's passion in words. It's something that he, I believe, had to study and dig a lot to find these materials and papers that could help to make this masterpiece, not a book, a masterpiece of the Book of Fate. I must say that when I was reading the book, I was really much impressed by the fact that the approach is very different. It's unparalleled to the classical approach that we usually have in literature classes. We usually studied a writer by his origin. We would analyze where he was born, when he was born, the political situation, the age, and influences from outside, but meaning outside in the country where the writer would work. This approach that we found in the book is totally different because it goes beyond any geographical boundary. So it goes. It's a brave approach that finds roots also in the unifying force of, as Professor Shahab always says, the will of the wills, in God and in the human nature that is common for any century and any continent. He actually sees the writers as visionaries, but I think that Professor Shahab is a visionary himself when he sailed out to this work, and he left the secure harbors of classical literature, and he wanted to explore new areas and new approaches to Shakespeare. It's amazing that he could find connections between the Persian and Indian literature and connect them successfully to Shakespeare, and find also historical connections in the missionaries, in this personality such as Robert Shirley, the ambassador of Persia for the kingdom. He managed to prove very well the connection and the origins, and that Shakespeare could find good inspiration and good materials also so far as India. Obviously, for Europe, Persia was always a myth, something mysterious, something to be discovered and explored. I was very much also flattered by the fact how Professor Shahab finds contributions to being a woman, to womanhood in Shakespeare and generally in the literature, so that the role of women can be appreciated and diversified in the works. Thank you very much. Thank you and enjoy. Have a great day. Bye.
The timing is such, not many of our students could make it today here. But anyway, it's more of formality. We had this book launch in November in Lahore. They invited me because my mother's book was to be launched, and publishers of my mother's book thought, since my books are also available, why not to have launched together in Lahore. So that was the first time in history of India and Pakistan that a mother and a son had a launch together. So it was a big honor for me. So this book is, in many, many ways, has memories for me which I can never erase, inshallah, from my mind. When it comes to the content of the book, it's something, if you are my student or if you have read some of my writings, for past 6-7 years, this is kind of a nucleus of my thoughts. I believe that this world is not a very bad place to be in. It has been made a very bad place to be in. It's a dangerous place to be in, actually, at the moment. He's been here, he's gone. Nothing has changed. If you're a Christian, you would say the same thing for Jesus Christ. If you're a Jew, for Musa alayhi salam. If you're a Hindu, for Lord Krishna. And if you are atheist, for Marx and Lenin. If you're a capitalist, for Lincoln and all sorts of fathers of them. What is it that we have not tried in our world history? And why every system has failed? Or to be honest, why we fail every system? Because I believe nothing was wrong with the message of these great people and their books. And my naive thoughts finally rested on this platform. Nothing wrong with the system, but everything wrong with those who pull the strings. That happens to be a patriarch, male. And I realize as long as in male hands, this world stands no chance. Shuffle the world order, give everything to female hands, and let them run over this planet. Let's see how it goes. What's the worst? They will fail. We have failed as well. Imagine all the armies of the world, female armies. You know what would stop immediately? Concentration camps, rapes, slaughter of children. Change the entire concept of banking to a feminist or female concept of banking, which Hazrat Khadija had introduced to us. Transform the entire concept of politics to female concept of politics, which Elizabeth I had introduced to us. It's possible something might change. But then it crossed my mind, the problem today that half of the world population is feminist. Feminist in an American Western sense. And feminism is a reactionary movement. Women from that. So whoever you are, liberal, secular, Islamic, non-Islamic, India, one of the worst nations when it comes to female rights. In Delhi, the capital, every minute a woman is raped. This is incredible. 100 years later, the biggest problem of females, that is insecurity, we haven't resolved. So since I love Shakespeare, I surveyed a bit and I realized that Shakespeare was talking about, he had the same idea, why we have failed the system. And his idea was the same. However, you cannot hand over this world to a feminist woman or a woman who is controlled by a male in Islamic country. You have to induce the women with the potential which God has given to them, nature has given to them. Shakespeare knew that. So Shakespeare creates 7 kinds of women. One of them is a representative of what? A woman should have largest possible vocabulary. Nature has given women the power of speech. I always tell my students that, have you ever seen that whenever men mock at a woman, your girlfriend, your wife, or somebody, we mock at women. But at the same time confessing that the gift of speech, God has given to women. They have power, mashallah. Who's the role model for that? Viola, strong woman, fighter, warrior. 3.
इंसानी इश्तिहा ज़रूरियात, लेकिन बड़ी भूख होती है मानी की भूख, मतलब की भूख, मफ़हूम की भूख। ये जो मैंने अभी बड़े सवालात कहे ना कि ये क्या है, कायनात क्या है, मैं क्या हूँ, ये इर्द-गिर्द क्या है, माशरा क्या है, इंसान क्या है, खुदा क्या है, कायनात क्या है, तो वो ये कहते हैं कि बड़ी भूख, फिर छोटी भूख पेट की भूख है, बड़ी भूख इज thirst for meaning। इसका मतलब क्या है?
Naravno, ja bih samo da dam neke komentare o Ibn Arabiju. Profesor Khan je dakle, u ovoj knjizi predstavio arhetipe, dakle logose. Professor Khan has brilliantly presented logos or archetypes in this book, ženskih i muških također likova općenito, i također mineralnog i sveukupnog svijeta koji se nalazi u opusu književnosti Shakespearea, pogotovice u Hamletu. And also indicating the archetypes within nature, the mineral world, the high world, the metaphysical worlds which are found in the literature of Shakespeare as commented in the book. Jedna od stvari koje sam ja primijetio kao komentator je da zapravo profesor Khan zaista majstorski ističe kontrapuntalnu metodu naracije. Chapter may be translated as sulukul hub, the spiritual pathway or mystical wayfaring of love. From Nizam, min Nizami, wa Attar, and Attar, Rumi, wa Hafiz, and Hafiz ila Shakespeare, to Shakespeare. Another interesting thing is that literally every sentence, još jedna interesantna stvar je da doslovno svaka rečenica u ovoj knjizi može da istakne zapravo tu orijentalnu snagu arabeske, dakle, ciklične prirode razumijevanja Shakespearea. It can indicate the cyclical nature of Shakespeare's literature, u kojem čovjek doživlja fena, anihilaciju, utrnuće u višoj svrsi, da bi dao neku perennialniju interpretaciju ovoga i kreće se ka tom konačnici gdje žrtvuje sve radi ljubavi prema Ofeli, prema drugim ljudima, prema samom sebi, prema Bogu. That would be my commentary. So, thank you.